Imagine this scenario for just a moment.
Okay, I am picturing it.
Right. Really trying to picture it in your mind. You finish a long, difficult day of work or, maybe studying.
Yeah, you feel completely exhausted.
Exactly. You feel tired. You put on your most comfortable pajamas. You walk into your bedroom. You get into your soft bed, and you pull the warm blankets all the way up to your chin.
Oh, it sounds wonderful already. That feeling of finally resting after a long day is, well, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
It really is. And while you are sleeping deeply, you start to have wonderful dreams. Maybe you dream about sitting in a beautiful restaurant in Italy.
Oh, eating a giant, delicious pizza with extra cheese.
Yeah. Or maybe, you have one of those amazing dreams where you are flying high through the sky like a bird.
Right, looking down at the mountains and the trees.
Exactly. You are completely relaxed. You are resting. Then the morning sun starts to shine through your window. You open your eyes, you wake up, and you stretch your arms.
You feel fantastic.
You do, but then boom, something incredible happens.
Wait, what happens?
Suddenly, as if by magic, your brain perfectly remembers 10 brand new English words.
Oh, wow.
Right. You did not study them. You did not look at a book, but the words you really struggled to remember yesterday are now perfectly clear.
They are easy today.
Yes. They're just sitting there in your mind, ready for you to speak them out loud.
I mean, it sounds absolutely incredible. Honestly, it sounds like pure magic.
It does.
Or maybe just, a really beautiful dream that is too good to be true.
It really does sound too good to be true. But here is the most fascinating part of our deep dive today.
Okay, I am listening.
We are going to look at the real, actual science behind this exact idea. The big question we are asking and exploring today is it actually possible to learn English while you were sleeping?
Wow. That is a question that I think every single language student in the world has asked at least once.
Oh, absolutely.
We all want a shortcut, right? And learning a new language takes so much time and so much energy.
It's a lot of hard work.
It is. We all want to know if we can use those quiet 6, 7, or 8 hours of sleep every night to secretly get better at English.
Exactly. We want our brains to do the heavy lifting while we are dreaming about pizza.
Right.
And because we are exploring this topic specifically for you, our listener, we want to make a special promise today.
A very important promise.
Yes. We know that you are learning English right now. We know that listening to native speakers can sometimes feel very fast.
It can feel a little bit overwhelming, honestly.
Yeah, we completely understand that.
We really do understand. Learning a language is, it's a brave journey. So today, we're going to do things differently.
Very differently.
We're going to keep our vocabulary simple. We're going to speak at a very relaxed, comfortable, and deliberate speed.
Deliberate speed, meaning we are choosing to go slowly.
Exactly. We want to make sure you have the time to hear and understand the ideas we are sharing.
There is absolutely no rush today. We will take our time to explain everything clearly.
We want you to catch every single detail.
Right. And whenever we use a big or complex word, well, we will not just rush past it.
No, we will stop.
We will stop, and we will gently explain exactly what that word means together.
We want this deep dive to be something that helps you, not something that stresses you out.
Exactly. So sit back, relax, maybe grab a cup of tea or coffee, and let's explore the sleeping brain together.
I am ready. Let's start by looking at a very old idea.
Okay, an old idea.
Yeah. For a very long time, people had a specific belief about what happens when we fall asleep.
Right, before doctors had machines to look inside the human head.
Exactly. Back then, people believed that sleep was exactly like a light switch on the wall.
A light switch. That is a great way to describe how people used to think about sleep.
Think about walking into a bright room. When you are ready to leave the room, you reach out your hand, you flip the switch down.
And the light turns off immediately.
Right, and the room goes completely dark. Everything in the room just stops. People used to think the human brain was exactly like that light switch.
The old idea was that you close your eyes, your body flips a switch inside your head, and your brain completely turns off.
Yeah, it just shuts down.
Yeah, it stops working for 8 hours until the sun comes up.
But modern science tells us that the idea of the brain having an off switch, is completely false.
It's a total myth, right?
A total myth.
So, if the brain does not turn off, what is it actually doing? Because when I look at someone who is sleeping, they look pretty turned off to me.
Yeah, they do.
They are not moving, they are not talking, they are just lying there.
That is the illusion of sleep. It looks very peaceful from the outside.
Right.
Yes, your physical body is resting, your arms are heavy, your legs are relaxed, and your breathing is slow.
But inside.
But inside your head, behind your closed eyes, your brain gets incredibly busy.
Oh, wow.
However,
Mm-hmm.
it is important to understand that it is not a chaotic, crazy kind of busy. It is active in a very, very organized, purposeful way.
To help us really picture this organized busyness, I want to use a wonderful picture.
I love this picture.
I want you to imagine that your brain is not a machine, but rather it is a giant, beautiful library.
A giant library. Let's really spend some time exploring this picture.
Okay, let's do it.
Because understanding this library is the secret to understanding how we learn languages. Imagine a huge building with very high ceilings, filled with thousands and thousands of bookshelves.
Let's think about what happens in this library during the daytime.
Okay, during the day.
During the day, you are awake. You are out in the world living your life. You are going to work, you are talking to your friends, maybe you are watching a movie.
Or maybe you are sitting at your desk studying English.
Right. All day long, you are experiencing new things, you hear new sounds, you hear new English words.
For example, let's say you hear the English word opportunity.
Opportunity.
Yeah. Opportunity simply means a good chance to do something positive. Or maybe you hear the word challenge.
A challenge.
Right. A challenge is something that is difficult to do, but it is usually good for you to try it.
You also see new faces on the train, you visit new places, you smell the food at a restaurant.
In our giant library metaphor, all of these new experiences, new faces, and new words are like books.
Just brand new books.
They are brand new books that need a place to go. During the daytime, while you are awake, thousands and thousands of these new books are being delivered to your library all at once.
Imagine big delivery trucks pulling up to the back door of your library every single minute of the day.
The workers are just dropping off huge piles of books, fast, fast, fast.
And because you are so busy during the day, because you have to work and talk and walk and eat, your brain does not have any time to stop and organize these books.
No time at all.
There is simply no time to carefully put them on the shelves.
Exactly. Your brain is too busy helping you survive the day. So what happens to the books?
I imagine they are just sitting in a giant messy pile right in the middle of the floor of the library.
Just a huge mountain of scattered, unorganized books.
That is a perfect picture. That messy pile of books on the floor is exactly what your brain looks like at the end of a long day.
Completely full of messy, unorganized information.
You have all the English words you studied, but they are mixed up with the memory of what you had for lunch.
And the memory of a funny joke your friend told you.
Right, and the memory of a loud car driving past you on the street. It is all just mixed together in a giant pile.
But then, something wonderful happens. Nighttime arrives.
You put on your pajamas, you get into bed, and you go to sleep.
The world outside becomes quiet. And this moment of quiet sleep is when the librarian finally wakes up.
The librarian. I love this character in our story. So let's talk about this librarian. Who is this worker inside our head that wakes up when we fall asleep?
Biologists and psychologists call this librarian your subconscious mind.
Subconscious mind.
Yes. Let's define that word very carefully because it is an important one. Subconscious. Subconscious.
Let's break it down. The prefix sub means under.
Like a submarine.
Right. A submarine is a boat that goes under the water. Or a subway is a train that goes under the ground.
Exactly. And conscious means being awake and aware of what you are doing.
Like when you choose to lift your hand, that is a conscious choice.
You thought about it and you did it. So when we put them together, subconscious means the part of your mind that works under the surface.
It is working underneath your waking thoughts.
You do not actively control your subconscious mind. It does its job quietly in the background without you having to think about it at all.
Just like you do not have to think about making your heart beat, you do not have to think about your subconscious mind. It just works.
So while you are sleeping quietly in your bed, maybe you are even snoring a little bit. This subconscious librarian goes to work.
Okay, what does the librarian do?
The librarian turns on a small lamp, walks out into the middle of the dark library, and looks at that giant, messy mountain of books sitting on the floor.
The librarian has a massive job to do.
Very man.
They need to clean up the mess before you wake up the next morning. So the librarian picks up each book from the pile one by one.
They read the title of the book.
And then they have to make a very important
A
decision.
critical decision.
The librarian has to decide what to keep and what to throw away in the trash.
This is a crucial point for language learners to understand. The brain absolutely cannot keep everything. It is physically impossible.
The brain has limited space, right?
Right. And it has to clean up the mess.
Let's give an example of something the librarian throws in the trash. Imagine you were walking down the street today and you saw a random person waiting for a bus.
Okay.
This person was wearing a bright blue hat. You looked at them for just 1 second and then you kept walking.
In the middle of the night, the librarian picks up the book that contains the memory of that person in the blue hat.
Then what does the librarian say?
The librarian looks at it and says, "Is this information important for our survival? Does this help us?" No. It is just a random person in a blue hat.
And so the librarian throws that book straight into the garbage bin.
It is gone forever.
And that is a good thing. If your brain remembered every single face, every single color, and every single leaf on every tree you saw today, your brain would be too full.
You would feel crazy. You need the garbage bin.
But what if the book is different? What if the librarian picks up a book and the title says, 1 hour of carefully studying English action verbs?
That is a very different book.
The librarian picks up that book, looks at it, and says, oh, wow, the person spent a whole hour focusing on this today. They wrote these words down on paper.
They repeated them out loud. This must be very important.
So instead of throwing it in the trash, the librarian takes this very important book about English verbs, walks over to the permanent bookshelves, and places it safely on the shelf.
It is saved. It is protected.
That is exactly what we want. We want our English words to go on the permanent shelf. So we have this beautiful picture of the librarian putting books on the shelf. But what do scientists actually call this process?
The biological term for this is memory consolidation.
Memory consolidation.
Let's repeat that slowly because it is a key concept. Memory. Consolidation. Memory consolidation.
Let's make sure those words are super clear. A memory is a thought, a fact, or an experience from the past that we remember. We all know what a memory is.
But what about that long word, consolidation? What does it mean to consolidate something?
Yeah, let's explain that.
Consolidation simply means making something solid, making it strong and firm. Think about water. When water is warm, it is liquid. It flows everywhere. It is not solid.
Right.
But when you put water in the freezer, it becomes ice. It becomes hard and solid.
Or think about wet glue. When you first put glue on 2 pieces of paper, they slide around. The connection is weak.
But if you wait a few hours, the glue dries. It becomes solid. The 2 pieces of paper are stuck together forever.
That is exactly what memory consolidation is. When you first learn an English word during the day, the memory is like wet glue. It is weak.
It can easily slip away and be forgotten.
But when you sleep, the brain dries the glue. Sleep makes the memory solid so it cannot fall out of your head. Sleep is the glue that holds your language learning together.
That makes so much sense. It explains why we can study for hours, but we do not really feel like we know the material until the next morning.
The glue needs time to dry while we sleep. Now, my understanding is that this gluing process, this memory consolidation, happens in 2 different main stages of sleep.
Yes, it is a 2-step process.
Okay, let's break that down.
Sleep is not just one long, flat line. Your brain travels through different stages or levels of sleep throughout the night. The first important stage for learning is called deep sleep.
Deep sleep, just like it sounds, it is when your sleep is very, very heavy. If someone tries to wake you up during deep sleep, it is very difficult. You feel confused and heavy.
During this heavy deep sleep, your brain focuses on facts and data.
Okay, facts and data.
It takes the specific facts you learned, like the spelling of an English word or the meaning of a vocabulary word, and it moves them from short-term memory into long-term storage.
It places the individual books firmly on the shelf.
Exactly. So deep sleep is for storing the raw facts and words.
Okay, that is the first stage. And what is the second stage?
The second stage is called REM sleep. REM is spelled R-E-M. It stands for rapid eye movement.
Let's define that. Rapid means very fast.
And eye movement means exactly what it sounds like. Your eyes are moving.
If you watch someone who is in REM sleep, it looks a little bit strange.
It does.
Their eyes are closed, but under their eyelids, you can see their eyeballs darting around quickly, looking left, looking right, looking up and down.
It is fascinating to watch. This stage, REM sleep, is the time when you have your most vivid, clear dreams.
But your brain is doing much more than just showing you movies about pizza and flying.
Much more. During REM sleep, your brain is processing complex emotions. And even more importantly for language learners, REM sleep is when the brain builds bridges.
Building bridges. Let's explain that.
Well, during deep sleep, the brain put the new English word on the shelf. But a word on a shelf is not very useful if it is not connected to anything.
Right.
During REM sleep, The brain connects new ideas to old ideas. It searches through the library, finds the new English word you learned today, and builds a bridge to a memory or a feeling you already had from last year.
Oh, I see. So if I learn the English word dog today during deep sleep, the brain stores the spelling D-O-G.
Exactly.
But then during REM sleep, the brain builds a bridge between the word dog and my happy memory of playing with my pet dog when I was a child.
It connects the new language to your actual life.
Wow, that is amazing.
It weaves the new information into the deep fabric of who you are. This bridge building is what allows you to truly understand the language, not just memorize a dictionary.
This is exactly why when you get a really good, full 8-hour night of sleep, you actually wake up feeling smarter the next day.
It is not just your imagination.
Your librarian has organized the messy pile, thrown away the trash, glued the important facts to the shelf, and built bridges between your new knowledge and your old knowledge.
It is a beautiful system.
It really is. But wait a minute, hold on. This raises a very serious question.
Oh. Let me push back on the system for a second because I am putting myself in the shoes of our listener, and this actually worries me a little bit.
Okay, what is the worry?
We said earlier that the librarian is constantly throwing books in the trash. The brain has to throw things away to make room.
Yes.
How do we make absolutely sure that our new English words do not end up in the garbage bin? How does the subconscious librarian know that my list of 20 English verbs is important and the guy in the blue hat is trash?
That is a great point.
What if the librarian gets confused and throws away my English homework while I am sleeping?
That is a brilliant question. And it is the most important question a learner can ask. Because if you do not signal to the brain that the English words are important, the brain might very well throw them in the trash.
Because the brain is lazy.
Your brain is lazy. It wants to throw things away to save energy.
So how do we stop the librarian from throwing our English into the trash bin?
The only way to make sure the English words go on the permanent shelf is by giving the brain clear, strong signals.
Strong signals. We give those signals by doing focused, hard work during the day. And this is what we are really excited to talk about by setting up a purposeful, intentional routine at night while we are actually sleeping.
Okay, so that perfectly brings us to our next major topic.
Yes, the big question.
We know the librarian is awake. We know they are busy organizing the books we collected during the day. So the next logical question is this. While we are sleeping, while our eyes are closed and we are snoring,
Right.
can we slide completely new books under the locked library door?
This is the dream, right? Can we learn things we have never seen before entirely while we are unconscious?
Exactly. The scientific research provides a very interesting, very specific answer to this question.
It is not a simple yes.
And the answer is not a simple no. The answer is a conditional yes.
A conditional yes. Let's define the word conditional because it is a very useful word in English.
Please do.
A condition is a rule or a requirement. So, if something is conditional, it means yes, but there are rules. Yes, but only in certain specific situations. Yes, but only if you do it the right way.
It is like if a child asks their mother, "Can I eat a giant bowl of ice cream?" The mother might give a conditional yes. Yes, you can have ice cream, but only after you finish eating your vegetables.
There's a rule attached to the yes.
Exactly. So when we ask, can we learn a language while sleeping? Modern science gives us a conditional yes. Scientific studies clearly show that the brain is indeed listening to the outside world during light sleep.
Your ears do not turn off.
Right. The brain continues to monitor the sounds in the bedroom. However, we have to be realistic. We have to understand the limits of what the sleeping brain can actually do.
We cannot ask the sleeping brain to do impossible things.
For example, let's imagine a crazy scenario. Let's say I want to become an expert in advanced physics. I cannot just put on an audio recording of a highly complex university physics lecture, go to sleep at 3 a.m., and expect to wake up the next morning as smart as Albert Einstein.
If only it were that easy. The world would be full of sleepy geniuses. But no, that is completely impossible.
Or, to use an English learning example, I cannot play an audio recording of a highly complicated grammar lesson. Let's say the audio is explaining the rules for the future perfect continuous tense. It is talking about grammar rules, exceptions to the rules, and complex sentence structures.
To the sleeping brain, that complex logic just sounds like loud, annoying noise. The brain simply cannot process difficult rules or logical problems while it is resting. Logic requires the conscious, waking brain.
I love the analogy that is often used to show how impossible this is. Trying to learn complex grammar rules while you are sleeping is like trying to teach a baby how to drive a car while the baby is taking a nap.
It is a hilarious image, but it is incredibly accurate.
Right. Think about a baby in the driver's seat of a car. The baby's feet cannot even reach the pedals to push the gas or the brakes.
The baby does not understand what a steering wheel is. The baby does not know the traffic laws or what a red light means. It is physically and mentally impossible for a baby to drive a car.
And if the baby is asleep, it is even more impossible.
Exactly.
In this analogy, your sleeping brain is the baby, and the complex grammar rules are the car.
The sleeping brain has no logic pedals to push. It cannot steer through a complicated grammar lesson. It is resting.
So we must completely throw away the idea that we can learn grammar rules or complex sentence structures while we sleep. That is not what sleep learning is for.
Okay, so if we cannot learn grammar and we cannot learn complex physics, what can we learn?
Yeah, what does the conditional yes actually allow us to do? Let's talk about what is possible.
There is some absolutely fascinating research, particularly from universities in Switzerland, that shows us exactly what the sleeping brain is capable of learning. This research shows that while we sleep, we can learn two very specific things. Number one, sound patterns, and number two, vocabulary associations.
Let's take those one by one. First, vocabulary associations. Let's explain the word association very gently. An association is a connection or a link between two different things.
Yes, a connection. Let's imagine an experiment to understand how this works while we sleep. Imagine an audio recording is playing very quietly in your bedroom while you are in a light stage of sleep.
Okay, very quietly.
The audio is teaching vocabulary. First, it says a word in a language you already know. Let's use Spanish as an example. The audio quietly says the Spanish word for cat, which is gato.
Okay, so the sleeping brain hears gato, and it knows what that means. It pictures a small animal with fur and a tail.
Immediately after saying gato, the audio quietly says the English word cat. And then it repeats this pair of words softly over and over again. Gato cat, gato cat, gato cat.
So as you're sleeping, your ears are hearing the sound of the word you already know, and right next to it, the sound of the brand new English word.
Exactly. And because your brain hears those two sounds grouped together over and over again, your sleeping brain starts to build a tiny bridge between those two sounds.
It creates an association. It connects them.
Yes.
So what happens the next day? When you wake up, do you just magically know the English word?
It is not quite magic, but it is a huge advantage. The next day, when you are awake and actively studying and someone says the word cat, your brain does not have to struggle to figure out what it means.
Because the bridge was already built.
Because the bridge was built during the night, your brain travels across that bridge much, much faster. It finds the meaning quicker. It feels easier to learn.
Oh, wow. I see. You are preparing the brain to learn. This brings us to a really important psychological concept. This is a concept called priming. P-R-I-M-I-N-G, priming.
Priming is a fantastic word. When you prime something, you prepare it, you make it ready for action.
Like painting.
Think about painting a wall in your house. Before you put the beautiful color paint on the wall, you usually have to paint a layer of white primer first. The primer prepares the wall so the final color sticks better and looks perfect.
Exactly. You are priming the wall. And with sleep learning, you are priming the brain. You are preparing the brain so that the English language sticks better the next day.
And this is so incredibly important for beginners. Because let's be honest about how English sounds when you first start learning it.
It is usually extremely overwhelming.
It is terrifying.
I remember when I first traveled to a foreign country where I did not speak the language. I walked out of the airport and I listened to two native speakers talking to each other quickly. It did not even sound like separate words.
No, it rarely does.
I could not hear where one word finished and the next word started.
That is a very common experience. It just sounds like one continuous fast block of sound.
Yes. It sounds like a giant wall of noise. Imagine a solid wall made of fast, confusing sounds. You cannot find the door. You cannot find the windows. You cannot find a way inside. It is just a solid block of confusing, scary noise.
What sleep learning does by quietly playing these sound patterns and associations while you rest is it begins to slowly break down that wall of noise.
It breaks down the wall by making the sounds feel familiar. It removes the fear. Let's use a music analogy to really understand this feeling. Have you ever experienced this? You are driving in your car or you are in a grocery store and you hear a song playing on the radio. You have heard this song a few times before, but you do not really know it.
Right, you do not know the lyrics, you cannot sing the words out loud, you do not know the name of the singer.
But because you have heard it quietly in the background a few times, you recognize the melody.
Yeah, you know the tune.
The rhythm of the music feels comfortable to your ears. When the song comes on, your brain relaxes and says, oh, I know this tune. It feels familiar and safe.
That is a beautiful comparison. That feeling of recognizing a melody is exactly what sleep learning gives you with the English language. Sleep learning makes the difficult sounds of English feel like a familiar melody on the radio.
So when you wake up the next morning and you turn on an English audio or you talk to an English teacher, your brain does not panic.
Your brain does not hear a scary wall of noise.
Your brain says, ah, I know this rhythm. I recognize the melody of these vowels and consonants. It does not feel scary or strange anymore.
And when you are not scared, when you are relaxed and comfortable with the sound of the language, your daytime studying becomes 10 times more effective. You learn faster because the fear is gone.
So to summarize what this all means for now, sleep learning is not a magic trick that replaces hard work. Sleep learning is extra credit.
It is a bonus.
It gives you a little boost for the hard work you do while you are awake.
It supports your daytime efforts. It creates a wonderful, comfortable feeling of familiarity in your subconscious mind.
This is so exciting. We know the librarian is awake and organizing. We know we can slide simple sound associations under the library door to create a familiar, comfortable melody in the brain.
Now, we need to get very practical. We need a plan.
We need to know exactly how to set up our bedroom tonight to actually do this.
This is the most important part. We need to set up your bedroom like a perfect, relaxing classroom for your subconscious mind. The research gives us a very specific, detailed 5-step routine to follow. Let's slowly walk through this routine step by step.
Let's start with step 1. The guidelines call this first step choosing the Goldilocks material.
Goldilocks. Let's explain where this funny name comes from because it is a very famous idea in English culture. Goldilocks is a character in a very old, classic children's story.
Right. In the story, a little girl named Goldilocks walks into a house in the forest. The house belongs to 3 bears. She sees 3 bowls of soup on the table.
She tastes the first bowl of soup, but she says, oh no, this soup is too hot.
So she takes the second bowl, but she says, oh no, this soup is too cold.
Finally, she tastes the third bowl of soup, and she smiles. She says, ah, this soup is just right.
Not too hot, not too cold, just right. English speakers use this Goldilocks idea all the time. When something is perfectly balanced in the middle, we call it the Goldilocks zone.
So how does this Goldilocks rule apply to choosing the audio recording you play while you are sleeping?
That's the question.
Means you must choose English audio that is just right for your current skill level. You cannot just pick any random audio from the internet. The specific rule is this: you must already understand about 50% to 70% of the words in the audio before you go to sleep.
Let me repeat those numbers because the math is really important here. 50% to 70%.
That means half, or a little more than half, of the words on the recording should be words you already know and understand perfectly.
Yes, you want a mix of the old and the new. Let's look at the extremes to understand why the Goldilocks balance is so important. What happens if you make a mistake and choose audio where you only understand 10% of the words? What if the audio is way too fast? The speaker has a strong accent you don't know, and it is full of massive, complicated academic words.
Then, going back to what we discussed earlier, to your sleeping brain, it is just noise. It is a solid wall of noise. The baby cannot drive the car. The sleeping brain will listen to that fast, complicated audio, get very confused, and the librarian will say, I don't understand this. This is not useful.
And the librarian will put it all in the trash. It is too hard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a complete waste of your time. Now, let's look at the other extreme. What if you choose audio where you already understand 100% of the words?
What if it is a list of words like hello, apple, cat, dog, words you learned on your first day of studying?
Then it is too easy. It is the cold soup. It is boring to the brain. You are not learning anything new. You are not building any new bridges or creating any new associations. You are not challenging the librarian to do any work.
Right. So 10% is too hard, 100% is too easy, but 50% to 70% is just right. The brain hears enough familiar words to feel safe and comfortable, but it hears enough new words to build new bridges.
Can we give our listeners some practical examples? What does good Goldilocks material actually look like?
Sure.
2 great examples come to mind. The first example is a very simple, slowly spoken list of 20 new vocabulary words played with their meanings in your native language. Just 20 words. Slow, clear, and calm.
That sounds very manageable. And the second example?
The second example is a simple children's bedtime story. A story that is read slowly, with basic vocabulary, clear pronunciation, and a gentle rhythm.
A children's story is perfect because stories naturally repeat words, and the context helps the brain make associations. Okay, so you have chosen your perfect Goldilocks audio. You have it on your phone or your computer. Now we move to step 2. This step is called the whisper rule.
The whisper rule is all about volume control, and I cannot stress this enough. Volume control is the most critical part of this entire process. If you get the volume wrong, you can actually harm your learning.
The rule is very specific. Let's say your normal listening volume during the day when you are awake and wearing headphones on the train is a level 10. For sleep learning, your nighttime volume must be turned all the way down to a level 2 or a level 3. Very, very low.
A good way to test this is what I call the ignore test. The rule is you must be able to hear the audio if you try to listen to it, but it must be so quiet that you can also easily ignore it and fall asleep. It should just be a soft, gentle whisper in the background of the room.
If we connect this back to the biology of sleep that we talked about earlier, there is a very serious medical reason for this whisper rule, right? What actually happens inside the brain if you play the audio too loudly? What if the volume is at a 6 or a 7?
If the volume's too loud, your brain gets confused. Remember, your ears never turn off. If there is a loud voice talking in the room, your brain's survival instinct kicks in. The brain thinks, there is someone talking loudly, I need to stay awake and pay attention to this person. It might be important or dangerous.
So the brain starts working too hard to listen.
Yes. And if your brain is working hard to pay attention to a loud voice, you will never fall into deep sleep. Your brain will stay in a light, restless stage of sleep all night long.
And as we learned earlier, deep sleep is when the memory consolidation happens. Deep sleep is the glue. So if the audio is too loud, you stop the glue from drying.
Exactly. If you lose your deep sleep because your audio is too loud, you completely defeat the whole purpose of sleep learning. You are destroying the very process you are trying to use. And even worse, what is the result the next morning when you wake up?
Oh, I know this feeling. If you don't get deep sleep, you wake up feeling terrible. Your eyes hurt, your body feels heavy. You wake up grumpy, tired, angry, and annoyed. And let me tell you, a grumpy, exhausted student cannot learn English well during the day.
Never. A tired brain cannot learn. So, you must protect your deep sleep at all costs. Keep the volume at a gentle 2 or 3. Let it be a whisper.
Okay, we are building a great routine here. Step 1, Goldilocks audio so it is just right. Step 2, whisper volume, so we protect our deep sleep. Now let's look at step 3. This is called the pre-sleep connection.
The pre-sleep connection. Let's look at that prefix pre. Pre means before. Like a preview is what you view before a movie starts. So pre-sleep means the time right before you go to sleep.
A big mistake many people make is they get into bed, pull up the blankets, press play on their audio, and immediately turn off the lamp and fall asleep. They just pass out while the audio starts. We are learning that this is not the most effective way to do it.
It is not the best way. Instead, you need to establish a connection with the material while you are still conscious. The recommendation is to listen to the soft audio for about 10 to 15 minutes before you close your eyes to sleep. You should be awake and relaxed in bed.
And here's the really important physical part. While you are lying there, listening awake for those 15 minutes, you should read the exact same words on a physical piece of paper or on your phone screen.
So you are hearing the quiet audio with your ears, and you are seeing the words with your eyes at the exact same time.
If we go back to our beautiful library metaphor from the beginning of the deep dive, I think I understand exactly what this 15-minute period is doing.
What is it doing?
It is like you are introducing the librarian to the new books right before the library closes for the night. You are walking right up to the librarian's desk, handing them a specific list and saying, "Hello, nice to see you. Look at these specific 20 books. Out of all the messy books on the floor today, these 20 are very important to me. Please, when I fall asleep in a few minutes, pay special attention to these."
That is a wonderful way to explain it. That is exactly what is happening biologically and psychologically. By reading the words with your eyes and hearing them with your ears while you are still awake, you are sending a massive signal to your subconscious mind. You are telling the librarian exactly what to focus on later when you are asleep.
You are putting a bright red sticker on those memories that says, "Important, do not throw in the trash bin, put these on the permanent shelf."
Precisely. You are giving the librarian instructions. You're making their job easier.
I love that. Okay, so we have our physical classroom set up perfectly. The audio level is right, the volume is whispering, and we have introduced the material to the librarian. But learning a language is not just about physical steps. It is also about what is happening in our heart and our emotions.
This brings us to step 4 and step 5.
How do we prepare our emotions? And how do we make this a habit that actually changes our lives? Let's look at step 4.
Step 4 is incredibly powerful. Step 4 is about affirmations and emotion.
Affirmations. Let's carefully define an affirmation. An affirmation is a positive statement or a positive sentence. It is a sentence you say out loud to encourage yourself and build your confidence, like looking in the mirror and saying, I am a strong person, or I can do this.
Affirmations are so important because we have to acknowledge a hard truth. Learning a new language is a very emotional experience. It is not just about memorizing grammar rules. It is about your identity. Many adult beginners carry a massive amount of stress, anxiety, and embarrassment.
It is so true. When you cannot express yourself perfectly in English, you feel like a child again. You feel foolish. Because of this, many learners have negative thoughts repeating inside their head all day long. Thoughts like, English is too hard for me, or I'm too old to learn a new language, my brain is too slow, or I sound stupid, I will never sound like a native speaker.
Those negative thoughts are dangerous. That stress and anxiety builds a mental wall in your brain, a wall that literally stops you from learning. If you believe you cannot learn, your brain will stop trying to learn. So the strategy for step 4 suggests a brilliant way to break down this emotional wall.
The strategy suggests that the first 5 minutes of your nighttime audio, the part you listen to right as you were drifting off to sleep, should not be English vocabulary at all. The first 5 minutes should just be soft, positive affirmations.
Right. You want to feed your brain positive sentences. Sentences spoken softly and gently. Sentences like, I am a fast and natural learner. I love the sound of the English language. Every single day, I understand more and more. Speaking English brings me joy.
Now I have to ask, why does this work so well at night? Why not just say these things during the day while I am driving my car?
You can say them during the day, but nighttime is special. Because as we discussed, the librarian, the subconscious mind, is very open to suggestion when you are falling asleep. Think about it. During the day, if you look in the mirror and say, I am a fast learner, your logical conscious brain might argue with you. Your logical brain might say, no, you are not. Remember how you failed that vocabulary test today? You are a slow learner.
Oh, the waking brain can be so mean it argues with us.
Yes. But at night, when you are lying in bed, your logical arguing brain is very tired. It goes to sleep first. But your subconscious mind stays awake, and the subconscious mind is very accepting. It does not argue. It just listens. If you feed it positive phrases gently and repeatedly while the logical brain is asleep, the subconscious accepts those positive phrases as the truth. It will slowly change your entire mindset. Your brain will start to truly believe what you tell it.
That is a beautiful concept. You are literally programming yourself to be a happy, confident student. And honestly, confidence is half the battle in language learning. If you are not afraid to make mistakes, you will learn twice as fast. Okay, so we are building confidence. What is the final step? Step 5.
The step 5 is the rule that holds everything together. It is called the 3-week challenge.
3 weeks, that is exactly 21 days. Why 21 days? Why not try this for 2 days or 5 days and see if I am fluent?
Because we have to remember that the brain is a physical organ inside your body, just like a muscle, and physical organs do not change overnight. When you learn something new, like a new English word or a new positive affirmation, you are actually building a tiny microscopic physical connection inside your brain. Science calls this physical connection a neural pathway.
A neural pathway. Let's give our listeners a really easy visual way to picture a neural pathway. Imagine a large field filled with very tall, thick green grass. A neural pathway is like a little dirt road going through that field of grass.
That is a perfect image.
The very first time you hear a new English word, it is like you are trying to walk across that field for the first time. You have to push through the tall grass, you trip over rocks, and it takes a lot of effort and energy to get to the other side. The path is difficult.
But if you walk that exact same path the next day, it is a little bit easier. You stepped on some of the grass yesterday, and if you walk that same path every single day for weeks, the grass gets completely pushed down into the dirt. The rocks are moved out of the way. Eventually, that difficult path through the tall grass becomes a clear, fast, smooth dirt road. It becomes incredibly easy to travel from one side to the other.
That is exactly how the brain works. And biology tells us that building a strong, clear, smooth road in the brain takes about 21 days of continuous repetition. You need to do the sleep routine, the quiet audio, the whisper volume, the positive affirmations every single night for 3 weeks to see a real difference.
Let me push back here with a very real worry that a listener might have. Life is busy. People get tired. What if I'm trying the 3-week challenge and I'm doing great day 1, day 2, day 3, but then on day 10, I come home from work exhausted, I fall asleep on the sofa in my work clothes, and I forget to turn on my audio. Do I fail the challenge? Is my little dirt road in the brain completely destroyed because I missed one day?
Not at all. Please do not worry about that. The brain is very forgiving. If you miss a night, do not stress about it. Stress is the enemy of learning. If you fall asleep on the sofa, just wake up, forgive yourself, and start again the very next day. The most important concept to remember for step 5 is one simple phrase: consistency is the secret sauce.
Consistency. Let's make sure that word is perfectly clear for our English learners. Consistency. Consistency. Consistency means doing the same thing regularly, over and over again, in a steady way, without giving up. Consistency is what pushes down the tall grass and builds the dirt road.
Exactly. You do not have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. Consistency is the secret ingredient that makes the whole recipe work.
Okay, let's take a deep breath. We have covered the 5 steps of the routine. Step 1. Choose Goldilocks material that is 50% to 70% understandable. Step 2. Use whisper volume to protect deep sleep. Step 3. Make a pre-sleep connection by reading for 15 minutes before closing your eyes. Step 4. Use positive affirmations to quiet the negative voices. Step 5. Commit to the 3-week challenge with consistency. This is an absolutely amazing, practical routine.
It is a routine that can truly help. But before we finish our deep dive today, we have to talk about expectations. We need to set realistic expectations because there's a very dangerous mistake that some learners make when they discover sleep learning.
Right. We do not want anyone listening to this deep dive to think, oh, great, I have the perfect sleep routine now. I never have to study English during the day ever again. We do not want people to accidentally stop doing the hard work of active studying because they think the nighttime audio will do 100% of the work.
That would be a disaster for their English learning. We must be very clear. Sleep learning is a supplement. It is an addition. It is not the main event.
Let's deeply unpack the vitamin metaphor because I think it is the absolute perfect way to explain how sleep learning fits into a student's life.
Let's think about your physical health and your physical body. If you want a strong, healthy body, what do you need to do? You need to eat good, solid, healthy food. You need to sit at the table and eat a plate full of vegetables, lean protein like chicken or fish, healthy fruits, and whole grains. This healthy food is what actually builds your muscles and gives you calories to live.
In our language learning metaphor, that good, solid food is your daytime study. It is the active, sometimes difficult work you do when the sun is shining. It is practicing speaking out loud with the teacher. It is writing sentences down in a notebook with a pen. It is actively listening to an English podcast and pausing it to look up a word in the dictionary. You must eat this food. There's no replacement for it.
Right. Active daytime study is the foundation of language learning. Now, in the metaphor, what is sleep learning? Sleep learning is not the food. Sleep learning is a vitamin.
A vitamin. Like a small pill you take in the morning with a glass of water. A vitamin C pill or a daily multivitamin.
Exactly. Why do you take a vitamin? You take a vitamin to give your body a little bit of extra energy or extra nutrients that you might have missed in your meal. A vitamin helps your body process the food better. It makes your body run more smoothly. Sleep learning is the vitamin.
The nighttime audio helps your brain process the daytime study better. It is a fantastic bonus, but, and this is the big serious warning for our listeners, what happens if you stop eating food and you decide to only eat vitamin pills?
Well, if you only eat small vitamin pills and drink water, you will become very sick and eventually you will starve. You cannot live on little pills alone. They do not have enough substance.
And in the exact same way, if you only listen to English while you are sleeping, if you never open your mouth to speak, you never write a sentence, and you never study grammar during the day, you will never become fluent. Never. The vitamin pills simply cannot do the heavy work of the actual food.
The sleeping brain can prime you, it can give you familiarity, but it cannot make you fluent on its own.
But let's look at the positive side. What happens when you combine them? What happens when you are a dedicated student who eats the healthy food, the active study during the day, and D, you take the sleep vitamin at night?
When you combine the food and the vitamin, the results are absolutely wonderful. It creates a hidden boost. Because you are combining active daytime study with nighttime memory and consolidation and priming, you will notice a difference in how English feels. When you are awake and trying to speak to a native speaker, the English words will come to your mind faster. You won't have to pause and search your brain for 5 seconds to remember a word.
The dirt road is clear, so the word travels fast. And when you listen to native speakers, their fast voices will not sound like a scary solid wall of noise. They will sound like a familiar melody on the radio. You will feel calm, confident, and ready to learn. You get the benefit of both the hard work and the rest.
Exactly. The food and the vitamin working perfectly together to make you a strong, confident, fluent speaker of English.
This has been such a deeply helpful and fascinating journey into the human mind. Before we say our final goodbyes, I want to take a moment to do a quick vocabulary review.
That is a great idea.
We use some very specific, important words today. We want to make sure you, the listener, have time to really hear them again, understand them, and absorb them. Let's slowly go over 4 key words from today's discussion. Let's do the first one.
Number 1, consolidate. Let's say it slowly. Consolidate, consolidate.
And what does it mean in the context of our deep dive?
It means to make something solid and strong. Specifically, it means the process where the brain makes a memory strong and permanent. It is the process of gluing the new English word onto the brain's bookshelf so you do not forget it the next day.
Perfect. Number 2, subconscious.
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 The subconscious is the part of your mind that works underneath your waking thoughts. It is the quiet, busy librarian inside your head that sorts information, throws away the trash, and saves the important books while you are sleeping or just not paying attention.
Number 3, familiarity.
Yeah.
Familiarity.
Familiarity is a feeling. It is the comfortable, safe feeling that you know something or you recognize something, even if you cannot fully explain it or remember all the details yet. Just like recognizing the comfortable melody of a song on the radio, sleep learning gives you a familiarity with the sounds of English.
And finally, number 4, consistency. Consistency. Consistency.
Consistency means doing the same action regularly every single day to get a result. It means not giving up after 1 week. It is the daily repetition that pushes down the tall grass and builds the permanent dirt road in your brain.
Consolidate. Subconscious. Familiarity. Consistency. Those are 4 wonderful, powerful words to add to your permanent shelf tonight. Well, my friend, we have reached the end of our deep dive today. We want to thank you, our listeners, so much for taking the slow, careful, and deliberate journey with us through the hidden science of the sleeping brain.
It has been an absolute pleasure to break down this amazing topic. We hope it helps you on your language learning journey. But before we let you get back to your day, I want to leave you with one final thought. Just something small for you to ponder and think about on your own time.
Oh, I love a good final thought. What is it?
Think about this. If our nighttime librarian, our subconscious mind, is so incredibly powerful, if it is so good at absorbing positive affirmations and familiarizing new sounds and building bridges while we sleep, what else might be possible? What other positive habits or healthy mindsets or even big personal life goals might we be able to feed our subconscious mind simply by changing the quiet, whispering sounds we choose to play in our bedroom at night?
Oh, wow. That is a beautiful and very provocative thought. If we can use the night to learn the melody of the English language, maybe we can also use the night to learn the melody of deep self-confidence or inner peace or true joy. The possibilities are really endless. Thank you for that wonderful thought.
You are very welcome.
We wish you, our brave listener, a wonderful, relaxing, and restful night of deep sleep tonight. And we wish you a highly productive, confident day of active daytime learning tomorrow.
Keep eating the good food of active study, and do not forget to take your quiet nighttime vitamin. Sweet dreams and happy learning.
Goodbye for now. Tonight, get some rest and let the librarian do their work.